Okay, so hi and welcome. My name is Donna,
And my name is Darlene.
and this is our very first podcast. Well, maybe our second one because we know we recorded one about a year ago. We haven't found it yet, but we want to just jump right in and start today during this whole coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, and we're going to get right to it. I have always been fascinated by natural medicine for years and years, and Darlene, my dear friend, also known as Doc Dar or Dr. Gustin, is a naturopathic doctor. But why don't you describe yourself better than I can? I probably said that all wrong. Go ahead.
Right. So I am a naturopathic doctor here in Oakville, and I studied that long ago, back in the day when it was a rare profession. There were very few of us. It was new as a school to Toronto, and literally people laughed at me, but it was how I was raised. It's what I believe in. It's what I've practiced for several decades now in Oakville, and I see it working. I'm very passionate about it, and I love sharing my natural pearls of wisdom with my patients and now online in this new venture with my dear friend Donna.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. We have been meeting now for what, 2 or 3 years? I think it might be going on to 3 years. And we've brainstormed, we've watched webinars together, we've read books together. We've just been encouraging each other to get our message out to the world. We were both very very interested not only in the natural medicine end of things, but spreading the word. And Darlene, would you like to elaborate on that at all?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been like coaches and therapists to each other, and just really encouraging each other to have the courage to fulfill that calling. I definitely feel that I've fulfilled my calling to be a naturopath, but that has been on a one-to-one level with patients, and I feel that the message that I have needs to reach a larger audience. And I've spoken at different conferences, and I've spoken internationally, and I'm so grateful for being in a generation that we have YouTube and podcasts that we can really spread our knowledge and our success so that others can learn from the journeys that we've gone through in many ways, many different journeys.
That's right. Well said. Well said. Yeah, and that's it. The same thing with me. I wanted to start a show years ago. It was called Healing Sources. In fact, now I have a YouTube channel called that. And I started shooting some episodes in Utah. It would have been about 22 years ago. No, 23. I was pregnant with my eldest daughter. And anyway, and I found that down there in Utah in particular, they were already doing a lot of the things that we are now doing as a society here in Ontario, let's say Southern Ontario. But back then, people weren't, hardly anyone knew what aromatherapy was. Herbs, all that type of stuff. Like arnica, like no one even knew what the word arnica was. Now, it seems to be a mainstream word. So I really wanted to bring that message to everyone, and to say, hey, there's a way that we can prevent disease as opposed to just dealing with the symptoms. My concern always was, and listen, I love modern medicine. I love the fact that we can go into an emergency department and get care right away, and that there's antibiotics, and that there's all kinds of things. However, I feel that a lot of times when we treat illness, we are treating symptoms and not the cause. And my belief always was, with the type of medicine that you practice, is that you get to the root of the problem and you see what's really happening and what is causing the issues, as opposed to just treating the symptoms that it causes. Would you? I know what you can say it better than I can again.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the core principles of the definition of naturopathic medicine is treat the cause. treat the individual, patient education, leverage the healing power of nature. And these are universal truths that medical doctors are starting to understand our philosophy. And in this time of a pandemic, that I'm really limited my exposure and really don't want to talk about that a lot. And some doctors are very alarmist, and I'm more laid back. And I don't think that the stress and the alarmist kind of medicine is of any benefit. So you can be calm and realistic. And this whole pandemic thing, there have been other pandemics on our planet, and never has any virus or any pandemic destroyed every human. We always survive as a species. And in the history of medicine, it's always survival of the fittest, whether we're talking about a virus or a cancer or a cardiovascular or diabetes. There's always going to be some people who have the worst case scenario, some people who have the best case scenario. And historically, they used to expect to find that the answers were genetics or gender. And even with my first degree being genetics, I never went for that. I don't do genetic testing in my practice because at the end of the day, it's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is whether you express that gene or not. And gene expression has everything to do with lifestyle. So the deeper you go into the science, the more the answers continue to be simple. That health is sunshine, exercise, positive thinking, eat your vegetables, drink your water, move your body. And so whether it's prevention or whether we label it lifestyle medicine or my new niche, cancer aftercare, the to-do list is going to be the same. Is to just have that conversation that lasts long enough to get to that root cause, and to tell that person, hey, 2 vegetables a week is just not enough. Whether you want to say that you need to eat the vegetables to prevent constipation or prevent cancer or treat your skin right now. Health, really, the foundations of health are simple.
Amazing.
Mm,
Amazing. And
yeah,
that's what we want to do. We would love to have many people listen to this and to follow much of what you just said. It's common sense too, and we've heard this our whole lives, but um, I love how you just simplify it, and it's doable too. That's the thing. We can all
definitely.
follow those principles. Um, and um, and we'll backtrack a little bit. You did mention the cancer. So this is more of an introduction, so you get to know who we are. I have gone through cancer. I've been through cancer and back, and Darlene, Dr. Gustin, was helping me during the whole thing, treating me. I was doing that alongside treatment at a hospital as well, and and so why don't we talk about what your specialty was, which it was cancer, correct?
Definitely. So when I graduated, they tried really hard to make all naturopaths more evened out and not so focused on their favorite modality. So they teach us modalities such as herbal medicine, nutrition, acupuncture, hydrotherapy, etc. And the reality is that if a patient comes to see a naturopath, you can get a very different experience depending which naturopath you go to. And and I wasn't so much drawn to a specific modality. I was more drawn to the challenge of give me the hardest thing to treat, and I want to conquer that. And that would be cancer. So I was very motivated and challenged, maybe from a little bit of a stubborn streak, where my belief system was, why should cancer be any more difficult to treat than the common cold? If we understand the body and the physiology and the herbs and the foods, why should cancer be any different? And to me, I've simplified that too. And so I know a lot about the physiology of cancer cells and how different they are from healthy cells, such as their temperature preference, their pH preference, the hormonal environment. And I just go through my checklist, fix my way down the list. And I had great success with many years and many patients of attracting cancer patients and spending my um, continuing education hours in that area, my special interest. And at this point, my practice has transformed over the years where I'm not so much attracting new cancer patients, but more so that the patients that I've had over the years have just simply stayed as patients. They've become permanent patients and multi-generational patients. And those cancer patients are staying well. And you're one of them. And I find that I'm ready for a change, and I don't really want to lose all that success and experience that I've had with cancer. And I find that now I'm really, the kind of medicine that I'm doing is what we call lifestyle medicine. But I want to put my own personal slant on that, and I'm offering cancer aftercare programs because that's really what I'm spending the bulk of my time doing at work, and I'm really proud of that. And like I said, Donna, you're one of my living testimonials
Yes.
that it can be done, and everything that you've learned. I also love particularly working with the mother in the family, because whatever I teach her and whatever she implements, it has that ripple effect, and you get that larger influence that what you cook and what you feed your daughters without us ever having that formal conversation is that you are showing them, teaching them, and modeling prevention, right? And they'll grow up with that lifestyle of how many vegetables they're eating and which water do we drink and how much exercise do we get. And we eat broccoli because 20 years ago Darlene told me about the indole 3 carbanols in broccoli and how they affect and benefit the quality of estrogen to be less cancerous in the chemistry. So
Wow.
back then, yeah.
So you never told me the details before. You just told me eat broccoli and lemons. So
Yeah,
I do all the time.
yeah.
Oh, it's fabulous. Oh my gosh, you're such a wealth of information. So as our listeners can tell, I'm the person who will be asking the questions and kind of directing where the conversations go when we have these podcasts. We will also be inviting other people in that are other experts in other fields in the whole mind, body, spirit, wellness world. And Darlene, it's fabulous. I could listen to you all day. So there's so much I know that you can help everybody learn and benefit and to live healthier lives and more full lives as well. So this is wonderful. Before we go though, I wanted to ask, is there any advice you could give us right now today while we're dealing with the whole coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic?
The answer to that, I mean, there are generic list of supplements that most Canadians at the end of the winter, if they haven't been actively supplementing through our cold, dark season, that many of us would be low in certain antioxidant type vitamins. But really, the answers are very individual to the patient. But something that is more global is just the things. I've nothing new to say. It's are you well rested? I mean, I could go into the deep physiology of what restorative sleep does to your T helper cells and the B cells and the T cells and all the different fancy immune system cells. But honestly, the answers are get your sleep, eat your vegetables, drink your water, eat your protein. If you have some supplements that you know you need, be more regular now, um, and hygiene, and that's it. And so what you're doing is you're building up resilience. That's where immune system resilience comes from. And so you may have already been exposed, you don't even know, and there's always going to be a spectrum of who gets a mild case and who gets a significant case. And usually the people who are in ICU and have the more advanced cases, they had other comorbidities or other risk factors. They had obesity, they had diabetes, they had cardiovascular disease. So just health up in your own personal way. And if you don't have a pre-existing naturopath and you don't have some of your own history of what you could and should be doing seasonally, then just really take a good look at your lifestyle and at your current status of health and health up.
Okay, excellent, excellent advice. And for anyone who has any questions, you could leave us comments. You could leave a question for Dr. Doc Dar. She will gladly answer them. And also, what would be the best way for people to find out about your practice, getting in touch with you? Is there an email? Could we just put that at the end of this, or would you like to say anything?
Sure. We have a clinic Facebook page under Bronte Natural Health Clinic, and I have an Instagram, Dr. Darlene Gustin, and all of those avenues on social media lead to the website, the email, the phone number. So whatever method they want to reach out will be there.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
And we will have episodes every week. This is our plan. So please let us know what you would like to learn about, and we will tackle those subjects as best we can.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Thank
bye
you.
for now. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.